We're down to our last session here, which is a look into the capabilities we've added to UiPath apps in this release. Before I introduce the speaker there, for those of you who have watched the other product deep dives throughout the afternoon, if you have questions for any of the presenters, the best way to get those questions answered is to go to the Expertsville happy hour that's going on directly after Daniel and Rob's Q&A. And all of the booths, all of the products have booths in that area, and those people will be there so you can go and ask your sort of detailed questions based on what you've seen here this afternoon. And with that, let me invite Evan back to the stage. You saw his great demo this morning in Ted's keynote. Now he's going to give you some of the more detail behind that. Thank you, Evan.
Hi, everyone. I'm thrilled to be with you here on stage again at Forward5. I'm Evan Cohen, Product Manager for UiPath Apps. And over the next 25 minutes, we're going to be going on a deep dive together into UiPath Apps and learn how you can use it to create bespoke experiences that work seamlessly with data, integrations, and automation. Now, my colleagues, Silvana and Masaki, will join us in a bit to share a demo that reimagines the HR onboarding process and how to use some of the latest capabilities inside of apps. But first, I want to dig into the what and the why of apps and talk about some of the latest innovations. Now, if you're new to apps, it's a cloud-first, low-code application development platform that enables RPA developers, citizen developers, and business technologists to build and share enterprise-grade apps. Now, this morning, we introduced the business automation platform that delivers an end-to-end set of integrated capabilities to deliver on the breadth and depth of your automation needs. Now, the out-of-box connective tissue with apps provides you with the power of the rest of the platform and gives you the agility to create purpose-fit, automation-powered business applications faster than ever. Now, the UiPath Business Automation Platform offers broader accessibility to automations, both for automation users and for automation designers. UiPath Apps is a highly leveraged way to realize the value in your organization. It's super easy to design visually appealing professional apps all on the web. Now, practically, this means that your COE can design engaging automation experiences that look and feel like the websites that your colleagues use every day. Now, if you're a COE lead, this means that you can increase the accessibility of your automations and the ease of their use. If you're an RPA developer, it's another tool in your toolkit to build dynamic interfaces on top of your automation. And if you're a partner or automation vendor, you can now tackle a totally new set of use cases and move your solutions up the value chain. Now, by a quick show of hands, how many of you have more than 10 browser tabs open on your phone or tablet right now? It's almost everybody. Yeah, okay, so I'm right there with you. Now, if you think about it, we're constantly context switching back and forth from application to application, from task to task. And our work is often distributed through dozens of different systems. Browsers, yeah, but also email clients, CRMs, sometimes even a mainframe legacy system that was originally created 50 years ago. And according to Harvard Business Review, 9% of our workday is spent switching and between different apps and recovering from switching. So what you see behind me is a custom-built interface for Bertha, a bank employee who uses UiPath apps to get ready for her next appointment without dealing with that toggle tax. Automations are triggered from her UiPath Banker app, so Bertha doesn't have to worry about tabbing back and forth from her mainframe system. So she can process her entire appointment directly from her Banker console. But it's not just the toggle tax that we're tackling with apps, which takes us to our broader philosophy. Now, great app helps you maximize the value of your human-in-the-loop processes. With apps, we want to free people up to do meaningful work without the burden of legacy experiences. Now, we've been investing heavily to enable outcomes driven by automation-backed apps like the examples that we heard from Ted this morning. Now, as a reminder, Ashling Partners built an app that enabled nurses to easily get health information from patients during a phone call in order to create care management plans. And the result was 30% lower patient dropout rates, more effective care plans, and an estimated 2 hours saved per day per nurse, saving them up from manual data entry. Now, Ashling was able to build a human-friendly interface on top of the existing software investments without having to rip and replace an entire software stack, because apps provides integration through both UI and API automation. Now, for those of you in the audience that are partners, this is a really good example of a reusable solution that you can build and take to multiple customers. Now, you might also think about creating apps that are configuration experiences for solution administrators and store that data inside of data service. Now, we use apps internally pretty much every chance we get. Our COE has built dozens of apps with use cases covering everything from a UI approver that aggregates data for approvals for our finance team across Salesforce, Coupa, and a bunch more, to UiSpace, which is a winner of a recent global hackathon called Hack Week, which helps our internal employees build more meaningful relationships in our remote work environment by making it easier to connect with your colleagues who have similar expertise or interests. And in fact, Hack Week itself was organized on top of a UiPath app, and hundreds of employees access that app to submit or browse projects and join teams. But don't just take our word for it. Customers are modernizing their legacy software stacks, and employee experiences twice as fast with apps compared to traditional development. Partners like Assurity have taken apps and leveraged them to take their average order process from 30 minutes down to 3. Apps built by Carglass saves their administrative employees over an hour and a half of manual data entry and validating data every day. One of my favorite things about working on the apps product is seeing all of the unique and creative ways that automation developers use it. So Jackie Miller, one of our MVPs, who is a part-time lecturer at the Northwest University of South Africa, built an automation-backed app in 3 days, and it saved her multiple weeks of time to generate tests, which is kind of crazy to think about. So now that you understand what apps is and are starting to see what it can do and see where we're headed, I wanted to take a minute just to talk about the latest and greatest in apps. So since we launched apps 2 years ago, our development team has been really hard at work expanding the depth and breadth of functionality of the product to meet your needs. And since the beginning of the year, we've added the ability for you to create dynamic in-app experiences using expressions, which not only makes it faster for you to build, but it makes your apps easier to maintain. We made it possible for you to query and persist data natively using data service, which provides powerful no-code data modeling capabilities designed to be used by both apps and automation. And that enables you to build powerful apps that take advantage of data services' rich capabilities like relational data types, integrated security, and auto-scaling. So you can grow your automation use cases with now faster performance and even more controls to extend your automation use cases. And through the end of the year, we're focusing our innovation efforts in 3 key areas. First, we're making it possible for you to leverage public-facing apps. So now you can send your apps over to third-party stakeholders. Now this could be customers, vendors, contractors, and allow them to engage with automations that you've built. And this unlocks thousands of automation use cases that require third-party engagement. Second, we're taking our native API integration GA. Now this is another total game changer, and not just for apps, but the entire platform. Integration service makes it possible to connect directly to your source systems. And if you don't have a connector that you need, you can build one using the custom connector builder. We're a little short on time, so I'm just going to speed things up just a little bit. And now I want to recap. So you can build apps for everyone in your organization. And with public-facing apps coming later this year, you can build for external users as well. And because apps are web-based, you can access them from any device, from your PCs and Macs to phones and tablets. And apps sits on top of your existing software automations and integrations. It abstracts away the complexity for you and your end users, leaving them with one simple, elegant screen. And not only that, you can embed apps into your existing line of business systems to augment their functionality. Now, our thesis is that low-code integration and automation markets are converging. And that continues to be confirmed by customers and the analyst community. And in that vein, I'm thrilled to share the results of analyst firm ISG's inaugural low-code evaluation, where UiPath was recently named a leader. And speaking of markets converging, let's check out a demo that shows how low-code integration and automations all coalesce in UiPath's business automation platform. Please join me in welcoming Silvana Schmidt, sales engineer at UiPath, to the stage.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. First impressions matter. The onboarding experience that companies provide for their new hires sets the tone for the relationship between an employee and their job. Companies with weak onboarding programs are twice as likely to lose new hires within the first year. We see that in most places, onboarding can take months, resulting in lost productivity and an overall negative experience for new hires, one that lingers. So what does an effective onboarding journey look like? In this session, we'll explore an approach using UiPath apps through the lens of a fully automated enterprise. We'll showcase our next generation of capabilities that enable your teams to create modern and seamless experiences. Today, I'll be role-playing as a newly hired COE lead at Acme Corporation, where I'll use UiPath apps as a single pane of glass throughout my new hire journey. We'll start the demo from pre-boarding, which begins the moment I sign my offer letter. This use case is unlocked with UiPath apps' new public-facing apps capabilities, enabling me to securely use Acme's automations as a third party, expediting my journey before I even join the company. You'll follow my journey through my first day of work as an Acme employee, where I'll be guided by a personalized onboarding app that enables me to complete all of my onboarding tasks within one context. To finish this off, my colleague Masaki Kumamoto will extend our onboarding application live to showcase some of our latest and greatest features to level up your automation program. With that context, I'll switch roles to my new hire persona, a COE lead at Acme. At this point, I've signed my offer letter, my background check has cleared, and I'll automatically receive a personalized email welcoming me to the company and granting me access to a pre-boarding portal, which I'll go ahead and enter straight from my phone. Note that I could also access this portal through a computer or tablet using the out-of-the-box responsive design features available in UiPath apps. This is my pre-boarding app, a single pane of glass where I can complete all of my pre-boarding tasks and access all of the critical information that I need before my start date in one place. The first thing that I see is this dynamic welcome banner with a countdown to my start date, personalizing my experience. I can also immediately see a complete view of my tasks, along with their status, due date, and completion date. Note that the app will periodically send me reminders to complete my tasks. I've already completed my first task, which is uploading my ID. I was able to accomplish this through the app by taking a picture of my license and uploading it directly. The app saved my progress every step of the way using UiPath Data Service, so I can come back into the app and pick up exactly where I left off. So I'll do just that and create my profile. Typically, when a candidate onboards, they must create profiles for multiple systems. This includes SharePoint, Slack, just to name a few. That's a lot of duplicative work for the candidate. With this app, I enter my details once in a simple form, and automation takes care of the rest, creating all of the profiles that I need when I need them. So I'll go ahead and fill out some details. Something pretty important, I'm a COE lead. Something that's even more critical and should be the only thing you take out of this demo: I love cats. Finally, I'm prompted to take a profile picture, which I can upload, but I don't know. I think you all look great. I think I am looking professional, so we should all take a selfie here. And I think that's going to make for an awesome profile picture. So it's going to automatically upload, and we'll get to see a preview of that app in real time. Now, once I hit submit, the app is going to automatically create the profiles whenever I need them. So on my start date, it will all be ready for me to go. Now, we're back to my homepage, and you can see that I only have one task to go, and that's building my desk. This is a dynamic form that uses UiPath's interactive capabilities to select and preview my equipment order. Do I want 2 monitors or 1 really big monitor? Do I want a MacBook or do I want a ThinkPad? This makes the onboarding experience for my equipment a lot more clear and engaging for me as a candidate. You'll also see later in the app, I'll be able to track my shipment straight from the same application. Once I've made my selection, the final step is going to be to confirm my shipping address. You may recall that on a prior date, I took a picture of my ID and uploaded it onto the app. The moment that I snapped that picture, bots took my driver's license and used UiPath's native document understanding capabilities to extract key details like my address, which pre-populates my shipping address on this page, so I don't have to key it in. This creates an intelligent journey that simplifies my experience as a new hire, while decreasing the risk for human error, which can cause delays in onboarding. At this point, I can confirm the address or make changes. I'll go ahead and confirm that. And we'll be prompted to go back to the home page. And you can see that the app congratulates me for a job well done. It lets me know that I can now engage with Acme on social media to keep me engaged as a candidate. Now, at this point, I'm done with my task, but I can continue to use this app to access all of that critical information that I need before my start date. This includes a complete timeline of events happening up to my start date. So this includes that estimated delivery date for things like my swag box and the equipment that we just ordered together. This uses an API connection with FedEx to track it in case I need to track that shipping address from the same context, created using UiPath's new connector builder for integration service. This unlocks the power to connect with any application through an API directly from apps without having to use a robot or workflow. With that, let's time travel 2 weeks in the future to my first day at Acme Corp, where I'll be able to access a personalized experience from my desktop. Now, because of my frictionless pre-boarding experience, I have everything that I need to be successful on my start date. This includes my equipment and access to all of the applications that I need. This is going to be my one touch point for everything onboarding. I can see that I have a handful of tasks to complete, as well as some that my personal bot has completed for me. This includes app access, ordering business cards, and downloading all of the required software for my role onto my computer. I'm ready to go on day 1. So let's complete our first task, which is scheduling my one-on-one with my manager. Typically, to do this, I would have to go into Microsoft Outlook, find a time block that works, and schedule that meeting. With my onboarding app, I can simply click this task, and the form automatically suggests time blocks that work for my manager and I. I can select my preferred time slot, click OK, and the meeting is scheduled instantly, without me ever having to open an application. In the backend, this is powered by UiPath Integration Service, which enables automation through direct API calls at lightning speed. Moving on to a more complex task, I'm prompted to complete my 30-60-90 plan, or my goals for the next 3 months, which requires manager approval. Instead of having to log into Workday, I can complete this task directly from within the same context with Workday as the system of record. To enable this approval process when I hit submit, we'll need the power of workflow. As soon as I hit submit, the task is handed off to a cloud robot who will manage the approval flow using UiPath's long-running workflow capabilities. With cloud bots, Acme can unlock the power of workflow automation without the burden of additional infrastructure. So let's take a break from onboarding tasks and check on our equipment. I have now physically received all of the equipment that we selected together in the pre-boarding app, and I can see all of it within one context. I can also submit a ticket if something is wrong with any of my equipment or order new tools like headsets or keyboards. So let's say that my laptop arrived in pretty bad shape, it got dinged up in shipping. I could go ahead and click this button and submit a replacement request. In the backend, this is an API call to Jira using an out-of-the-box connector from integration service. This creates a seamless new hire experience, so I don't need to learn a new system to create IT requests, enabling me to be a more productive employee sooner. Finally, let's head on over to the Communications tab. This page intelligently recommends different Slack channels for me to join based on context. This can be regional, such as recommending the Americas, and more granularly, the Americas West team channels. This is also role-based, recommending the RPA COE channel, as I am an RPA COE lead. You may also remember that I love cats, and I included that in my profile. So the app also intelligently recommends that I join our Fur Babies channel. This helps me integrate into the company culture and find people with similar interests faster, so I'm happier at my job. This concludes our end-to-end flow, a vision of a frictionless experience that keeps new hires connected, speeds up time to value, and reduces attrition, all through your first year of employment. I want to emphasize that this is only one of thousands of potential use cases that you can unlock with UiPath apps, combining the power of UI and API-based automation. To show you how your teams can create bespoke experiences with apps, I'd like to invite my colleague, Masaki Kumamoto, to join us on the stage.
Thank you for the introduction, Silvana. Hi, my name is Masaki Kumamoto. I'm a senior sales engineer from UiPath Canada. I'm super excited about this because this is my first English public speaking. Anyhow, in this session, oh, thank you. Very kind audience. In this session, I'll show you how easy it is to build an app without any workflow with API connection using UiPath integration service. As an RPA developer at Acme Corporation, I can quickly build enhancements required by business users without workflow through direct API connections. I have already added this IT ticket support page where new candidates can check the latest status of their open support tickets. I was able to quickly populate this using the out-of-box Jira connector from integration service. Let me emphasize that I built this without workflow, no robot, through a direct connection between UiPath apps and UiPath integration service. I will show you how you can build pages like this with API connections. The COE team got feedback from new hires that they wanted to track the delivery status of their business cards, this one. And we decided to build a custom connector for FedEx API, to pull the FedEx package status for their business cards. My colleague even already built a custom FedEx connector API connector in integration service. I can now easily set up a tracking page in app using the connector he already built. To do this, we'll switch over to App Studio. The first thing I will do is build out the user experience to open the package tracking view. Let's say I want to make it so that when user click the tracking code here, it opens a pop-up page of this one, which I prepared beforehand for the sake of a demonstration. So I select the tracking code components and go to the event tab. Let's go to tracking code and create rule through event. And I can select what event I want to happen when user click this component. App has a robust event management system to control runtime behavior without any code. For now, what I need is open a page, so I will select open the page and select the FedEx tracking page as a model. Great. As an aside, you could also drive API calls through simple selector, leveraging UiPath integration service. For instance, I can see the API calls available through Jira connector. These are the things you can call. But since we won't use this for the tracking page, I will leave it as is. The next thing I want to do is connect the FedEx API connector to this application. So I will go to this button and select connection. I will search for FedEx from the connector listed from integration service, and I will add it. Great. As you can see here, now FedEx package track API is available in this app. To finish this off, I am going to build an apps expression to display the result of API calls nicely in this custom list on the package tracking page. Apps expression makes it easy for me to build logic into my apps. I do not need to be familiar with API specification when or how I call the APIs. All I have to do is binding the data from the connection as the data source of the custom list control. So I select the connection. Great. Apps also makes it easy to me to use APIs by providing a visual configuration for API input parameters. So I know which fields are required and which fields are optional. For the tracking number field, I am going to use this tracking number variable, which I prepare beforehand. And I will set it. Great. At last, I will configure all the fields I want to display in the custom list. For instance, I will select the date component I placed. And there's a placeholder. And I will override for date components in the connector. So I will scroll down a bit. Tracking FedEx API. And there's a date. So I will select it. Great. So basically, I will do the same things to the older components, like time, derived status, city. But to save time, I have already deployed the result in the production environment. So let's see the result. This is the page you saw. But now, if you click this component, this pop-up comes up. And as you can see, now new hires can see the latest and past status of the business card package without leaving their context. And it was quick and easy for me to make an adjustment as a developer using no-code application service, thanks to the direct connection between apps and the integration service. To wrap things up, please welcome back Evan to the stage. Thank you.
Thank you, Silvana Masaki. All of that without a single line of code. Now, as we wrap up here, a few important resources for your apps journey. One, we have a deep dive journey on your apps, on the Apps Academy course. And we also have resources online. Few quick notes. We have a user research study that we're continuing, because we want to continue to improve the product. So whether you're brand new or have experience or are interested, please sign up at the demo booth in Expertsville. I thank you all very much for your time. We cannot wait to see what you build. Thank you.